Hey, hi, welcome to Bonus Stream Friday. I'm often busy on Friday nights, so it's not a great time to stream, but Stitching M and some of the other people were gonna go see Little Mermaid, and then, like, didn't for whatever reason. So I made my own plans, but luckily I have someone to distract the dog, so life could be worse, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I felt like talking about Guild Wars 2. And Leona, it's good to see you tonight. It's probably like 3 in the morning for you, my apologies. Yeah, all years. Well, I can talk about Guild Wars 2 for ages. I don't have the End of Dragons expansion, but I love that banner, so up it goes. Shit. I heard that the Guild Wars 2 ArenaNet spent quite a bit of money hiring DNI, diversity and inclusion people for their Canton expansion, End of Dragons, to make it not like, this is the area that is Asian. And by Asian, we mean some China, some Japan, and nowhere else. Like, good? Because that's a trap a lot of people fall into. It's the trap I would fall into if I tried to write something like that, right? Yeah, and they are a Texan game company, so they could fall into that trap easily, is all I'm saying. So good on them for putting a little bit of extra effort in to make it feel more than just two countries in one of the most diverse continents in the world. You know, good on them. Yeah. I want to give it more of a try. Okay, let's get started already. Get started real early. We'll talk about it. I was a Guild Wars 2 beta tester. I'd never played Guild Wars 1 at all. At that point, I was still enamored by WoW. And I fell off the World of Warcraft wagon when I realized that I and many other people cared far more about the world's continuity, lore, story than most of the people on the development team, and certainly anyone on the development team who had the ability to say yes or no. That happened about Cataclysm, really. Should have happened earlier. Didn't. Path of Exile. Path of Fire, probably? And so, it's a nasty discovery to realize that you care much more about an artwork or a community or something. Gotcha. Than the people who have the power over it. I feel like that's why a lot of people are really big into fan fiction, right? And it's not just the feeling that, like, I don't agree with what the writers have chosen. You're also saying, I don't feel like you're showing the care and love for this the way I want. The thing I feel it deserves because I love it so much. It's just that it sounds ridiculous to say, but I was upset that weird and terrible retcons kept happening. The red shirt guy meme, or the red shirt guy thing that happened in the World of Warcraft community where someone at BlizzCon was like, hey, what are you going to do with this dwarf who's one of the princes of the dwarves? And someone's like, he's dead. And he was like, no, he isn't. Here's the book where he's lived. What are you talking about? You don't need to be a lore master to be in charge of a video game. But they were a pretty important character. Just assumed they were gone? I don't know. That happened constantly. It was just the highest profile one because it was on camera. I remember early in WoW, someone was like looking through potential new classes and they thought up Monk and they had a large list of suggestions and improvements and things that could work on the forums. And a GM actually responded, and they were like, "We don't intend to. It doesn't fit with the Warcraft universe at all. It may have appeared in this circumstance, but it doesn't fit." Just to announce it and released it with Mr. Pandaria. Change is good, but still. Anyway, I got back into MMOs when Guild Wars 2 Beta came out, and I was like, "Holy shit! This watercolor art looks amazing." I love hearing things about the lore. Let's get into it. And so I did. released a beta very, very early in the morning, and I played it for like 4 hours before going to work. I had a terrible day in the office. But I felt that any attention and lore delving and appreciation for the world was like rewarded through being able to discover more things. And just dialogue and quests felt enjoyable, so why not do it? And then I played it for years and fell off after Path of Fire when a writer was fired for telling someone off on Twitter. And I got really pissy about that. I really did. Because I did like her work. Jennifer, I think. Don't remember her last name. I think I still follow her on Twitter. I was really pissed. I hated it. Really didn't want someone's personal life to be affected, someone's professional life to be affected what they did in their personal life. She wasn't a representative of ArenaNet. It wasn't even in her bio, I believe. And so I dropped everything. I gave away the copies of the novels I had, Age of Destiny and Ghost of Ascalon, and just uninstalled. And I had read and considered running a 5e conversion for Dungeons and Dragons for Guild Wars. I understood the rules enough, and I made a character for a 5e game called Jumpy Grimbles, who was a Char, and not to give up the ghost too early, but like, he's here. I used a boost. He's not actually the lady. But I liked the Char as like cat minotaurs. Lion people as opposed to cat people. Also, speaking of cat people, there's a cat person on my desk. And he refuses to move because the heat mat's on, so I hope you appreciate the tail whipping that is happening. Made it sharp. Very good, look at it. I just thought it'd be funny to have a ridiculous thief that knocks things over all the time. So, I did. And like, but primarily I was an elementalist for a long time, and I felt like I likened it to playing a piano all the time, switching between elements while in combat. But I never got... I was never that good at it. They managed to get 100% world completion on both expansions. Yeah, Emma and I, Stitching him, played Guild Wars 2 a lot together. We finished up until the end of Heart of Thorns together. And that was pretty good. So much so that as a wedding present to me, she commissioned one of our friends who was an artist, a video game artist, and he just received a grant from the Australian government to continue making his video games, so we're very proud of him. Oh, and he's got a baby daughter too. Really cool. To do our characters steady next to each other. And it's really nice. But what I think we'll do, because I'm looking for an excuse to redo Personal Story, to get myself settled again, is that we'll create a new character. We'll just go through it and I'll talk about some of the things, especially related to TTRPGs, because if we got a bit of time, let's go for it. And you can see how bad I am with an MMO on a keyboard, because I don't even play Final Fantasy XIV with a keyboard. I play with my controller, and Guild Wars 2 does not support a controller. I can kludge it together. Sold on cats, Leona. Jeez. What a... It's a good one. We killed our gods. Char are cool. You know, I didn't think of that. Maybe I just assumed you are a Leo anyway. I think the racial diversity here is really good. I think they're a good set of core races, like 5. I never thought about it. Never said you were wrong or you were kidding. Oh, come on. Virgo has full of them too. Well, maybe not the animals. I don't know enough. I literally just rely on my girlfriend to tell me everything interesting when it comes to astrology. That really helps. We got... I do like it. I was having a it's like moderate anxiety breakdown this morning, and just got sent a screenshot of cancer season. I'm like, oh fuck. I kind of like it when it works. The best thing I ever heard about it was from a podcast. Astrology is as real as poetry is. Oh, yes. Does it affect your life? Maybe. How do you feel about it? That's what matters. Is it mechanically real? Can it be plugged into a system? No. That's amazing. I saw yeah. I saw Come From Away last night. Really? Did you get tired of me stopping your tail whipping me in the face? Okay. Hey, here's Captain the Cat. He's a good boy. What I should be doing is doing something I need more practice, like Elementalist, so I can get more practice with it on my main, but that, I feel that doesn't make any sense. Let's go Revenant, because I haven't done it again. What kind of vibe do I want to play? That's a decent question. I think Heavy Armor, because I don't have one much. Like, I don't play any of these except Conducia. One of the things I really got into with Final Fantasy XIV is the ability to have one fucking character and do all of the classes. That really helped. I do feel Mask. I think we talk. I talk a lot, especially in RPGs and tabletop RPGs, about like if you're gonna limit your choices to one class, you can't cross class. Guild Wars 1, you could, apparently. You gotta have diversity in them, and they've got to have the strong class philosophies, and that's something Wizards of the Coast has said Warlocks don't have. One, you're an idiot. And then in D&D 1, is what they call it, it stripped out the fucking class philosophy of mechanics and then said, oh, there isn't one, and then got rid of them. Bastards. I know several people, all queer, who Warlock is their favourite fucking class, so good job. And as you can tell, I'm pretty annoyed about it. It's weird enough that I love Pathfinder so much, and I still know they don't have a Warlock equivalent at all. Witch has a pact, but it's not with a patron. Let's go Revenant, because invoking legendary heroes is it's a vibe I kind of enjoy. I also love the idea of like calling back to not just heroes but echoes, memories, and not being tied to individual people, but like just the ripple effects they've had. Half made a 5th ed class about it. Half made because they did a lot of prep work, then handed over to someone else for extra work, but we ran out of time. It's not perfect, but Golem King said he might help. Turn it into a Pathfinder class, because that's what we play. Anyway, let's go Revenant. Ah, yes. So the class philosophy itself is, at least in MMOs, is primarily done through backgrounds, if you got one here, and the armor you picture them in when you first get them. Combine that with a race, you can come up with a decent idea as to like who they are and what they'll do. Excellent way to convey a lot of information in the short term. I'm not super surprised they didn't release any new classes in Path of Fire or End of Dragons, but people like it when you do, so it wouldn't be a terrible idea. Now, I'm terrible when it comes to creating classes. Like, creating characters, it doesn't take me forever. A lot of people say it takes them a long time to make them look exactly right. I have a Fantasia, and I'm not super visual in general, so it doesn't take me long to go, yeah, it'll do, and then move on. That'll do. How pretty, right? If you have the ability to glow, always glow. Lovely. That's lovely. Perfect. Hello, Emma. Midnight Fire is on so much of Candace's clothes. It's really nice. Yep. Midnight Ice. That's better, I think. I think the Sylvari are... They're supposed to, like, some people liken them to elves before the beta period. And it was well noted that, like, no. The general fantasy position of a race that is in decline, that used to have stronger magical powers, used to control much more of the world, like that's filled by the humans here in Tyria. Tyria being the planet, not the area. And, okay, cool. One, good, excellent, like that. Very good indeed. But that's just what the, like, standard idea of what an elf is in most fantasy media. I don't think that's universal. Positing humans as, like, the longer-lived one helps. Especially given, like, Sylvari, none of them are older than 50. I think some of the earliest are 50 years old because they came out of the tree relatively recently. The tree was growing for 150 years before anything happened. Let's do that. Rosette's a nice color. Yeah, exactly. Ancient, wise, magical Sylvari have none of that. It's just they glommed onto a nature race and was like, that must be elves. Even then, the common understanding of elves changes a lot. Right? Yeah, I'm mostly fine with that. Let's just make you a little pattier. There you go. I'll tell you, I'm taking that headpiece off immediately. Brown, brown, brown. We can do better than that, I'm sure. Honestly, if we've got a shiny mask, let's actually enjoy it. I'll take it off as soon as I can. These choices affect... Well, they used to affect more things. At least one of them did. I'll point it out soon. This Scrim Veil Piercer. To cover evidence eyes and punch through barriers that conceal the unseen. So, character creation in a lot of role-playing games... Well, I say a lot, but I actually mean like the big D20 ones. Don't do this... And they grab they get a really good hint as to way Powered by the Apocalypse character creation does as well. They have these questions or statements written out that change slightly based on your choices, and you've got a quick way to create a character that gives you so much like thematic resonance and feel to it. Games in the Wildwood, often friend of the channel, points out some of the really awesome things that they've done when creating games like that. And they once did the reverse for a Phenomenon game, where you would strike out things from your character sheet. See how that changed. The resplendent curtain is for revenants who choose to make a more elegant and stylish impression, because even if they can't see the world around them, they can still see them. Trouble may follow me, but I use my dignity to overcome it. I'm dignified even when up to my ears in mud. So it makes people respect me. A serious, thoughtful demeanor is the route to success. Well, not me, maybe this character. Also, these used to have mechanical, or kind of mechanical, actual reason to do it. Not anymore. It's taken out of the game. I dreamt of a quest that calls me to action. It was a vision of the Green Knight. Actually, I've done that before. Yeah, let's do the White Stag. Not anymore? Yeah, like, I don't know if it appears in your character sheet anymore, but there's dialogue options that change. But it was supposed to have more effect on random combat barks, and sometimes the dialogue options you could take in story missions. And they removed that. They stripped it back over time. Just when ArenaNet's like conception of how it would affect the game kind of was a bit too hard, like scope creeped too far, and they're like, well, we can strip back here, how much does it really benefit? This is more of a role-playing choice, and the role players like maybe appreciate it, but generally they make their own shit up anyway. More power to them. White Stag is a creature of enchantment and a mortal beast with great power. It's said that the stag will trade a magical boon for its freedom, if I can catch it. Yeah. I believe that the most important of Ventari's teachings is act with wisdom, but act. It's one thing to know what is right and another to change the world. We all have a calling. I will distinguish myself through my actions and thereby lift Tyria to a higher state of nobility. Very dignified. This is lovely. Rolling it back into like big your choices in race or class affecting. This is race, but your ancestry, race, class affecting a big part of your personality. These weren't. This sort of choice wasn't included in the 5th ed D&D conversion, but I would have this be a background choice in Pathfinder 2nd ed if you were to do a Guild Wars conversion to it. And there are enough race choices to make that work. Cycle of noon, baby. Midday. Solve problems by attacking them head on. Shit. Wait! I know what I'm doing. Wait, Trunt was a caster. You bet it is. The thing is, Ubit would be more likely to be a guardian. I don't want to create a guardian, so we're going to adjust poor Ubit's characterization. For reference, both people in the VODs. Shout out to people in the VODs. It is nice to see you in whatever time frame you're getting to me. Ubit was from where Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 3 playthrough. Where we had Ubit, Trunt, Malone, and Grumbo. They were the Warriors of Light. And they're just ridiculous names. I loved Malone, which will not work. Oh wow, it will let me. Malone was a black mage. And Grumbo was a red mage. Yeah. 2-bit. No, very good. Let's go with Ubit, huh? I think Ubit is fine. It's already... terrible. That'll do. I think Warden is probably better. Let's try that. Yeah, how many Ubit Light Wardens are there, anyway?
I am Silvari. 25 years ago, my people first appeared in Tyria. The pale tree flowered, and the firstborn awakened. The dream contains my race's memories. We gain awareness here, and then awaken into the world.
I lost my shit the first time I saw this.
Knowledge, and is my connection to others. It is my inspiration.
I played humans first. They're the ones I'm stuck on.
To face evil and destroy it. Even now, I sense my destiny calling me to awaken. My time is soon. Nature and goodness are in the siege. All life hangs in the balance. If Tyria is to survive, it will need us. If we fail, the dream will be consumed by nightmare, and Tyria will wither and die.
So this, like, that's a really good...
I dream of voyages. The voices of my people whisper to me far off.
Quick way to get you into a character and a setting. I kind of want you to time this. In fact, if I was thinking, I would have asked you to.
Brave and wild, it offers me the gift of freedom. The dream hints at my future. There are distant lands and dangerous challenges, but also I see my home. A grove with a white tree, and friends who will stand by me when I need them. My honor dictates that I help those who are lost and alone. I am the protector. I hear my name in the wind, and I feel the call of my future. And yet I sense darkness approaching. Something intrudes upon the dream. It blocks the path to my awakening. Before I can enter the world, I must first face this evil and vanquish it. I am summoned by the dream.
3 minutes-ish.
This is my story.
If you watch all 5 of them and take notes, you can do a very simple edit, and you've got like a great way to just do an introduction to each of your players in some sort of high fantasy RPG. I think that's an absolute masterclass in setting background information, things you need to know right away, and getting started. Once you got that, you're good to go. You know? Okay, first things first. Let's from this one here. Hide. Thank you. Rather than equipment. That's right. I don't think any of those are appropriate, so let's hide that. I like how much of Guild Wars 2 is account-based. Like, you can simply... That's a really good thing. I understand that you can't do everything on a single character, and honestly I prefer that, but I like how much does carry across. That feels better to me. Because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to do something over and over and over, and I'd primarily like to do one thing at a time. Like once. It feels harder to suggest that I'm going to 100% a game, which I often do, not all the time, if I need to do that multiple times. Sometimes you do, right? Let's give ourselves a new die. Yep. Look at them all the ones I don't have. Imagine if I had Vabi and Bronze, it's beautiful. Nope. It's got Pyre, something that's worth a couple hundred gold, I believe. I'm serious when I say you should grab that intro and use it as inspiration for one of your games. It's just a way to set your characters in the world really quickly. I think it's a masterclass. It's an absolute beauty. Oh, that's a really bright white. Let's see if we can get that. Cool. A little bit more glossy black's pretty good. I think that might have to do us. Alright, cool. You start with a mount? No, that makes sense. Legendary dwarf. I guess we're level 1. We could. We're not going to, but we could. Alright. That's that sorted. Let's figure out how to play. True. I have them on Candacia. Not all of them. Like, I got the Griffin, and not the Roller Beetle or anything after that.
Within the dream? What does that mean? Why do you look transparent?
I am interior.
A lot of
far away. Soon you'll awaken here, but for now you live in the dream. I can't explain right now. We must hurry. Something is poisoning the dream.
Poisoning the dream? Of course, I will do whatever I can to help you. Why me?
Your spirit is strong.
Raptor's cute.
Don't underestimate yourself. Head to the far embankment, and I'll meet you there.
I think they have a good squeak.
You there, sapling. Sense great danger.
Run past, they say. So,
This way. Those hounds are an aspect of it.
it's not super applicable compared to other, like to the tabletop, but it is worth considering how fast the game is.
Kate's gone to fight your nightmare beast. I'm sure she can.
Kitty, get off the mixer. Hey, come on. Cat's just standing on the mixer. He's a good boy. He's a mischievous boy. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Emma. I think that difference in the feel of a game comes across on the tabletop. More than you'd think, absolutely. How fast the combat is, how many decisions you need to make between each turn, how long a fight takes and how it feels is underrated. Absolutely under-discussed. We talk about mechanical complexity, we don't talk about the feel. Do sometimes a lot of games feel kind of dry. Especially when you talk about, say, I take a swing at him, compared to I roll a 1d20, do I hit? Yes, no. And you can change it to instead be like he's got an opening, you're exchanging blows for hours, let's see how it goes. Damage reduction. Okay, cool. Let's tank it then. Here I am clicking on my abilities. I'll suffer for that. I felt like something more actiony as well. We've been playing through a lot of really good slow games. for a little while. And they've got their place, but you usually get a bit of a speed? Action? Things striking fast? Trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like, that's my solo playtime, and I've just not been doing real well in Final Fantasy XIV. I've finished the latest raids, both the Alliance raids and the regular ones, and I keep dying. I cannot learn the mechanics. It's just getting too geographically complicated to me. Telegraph attacks appearing on the ground, and I just cannot place where I should be in the world to not get hit. So I get hit all the time.
I was fighting a great evil. Are we safe? Keith, where is Keith?
Steady, sapling. You just woke. You were calling out in your dream. Keith was just here, but she had to go speak.
That familiar, anyone?
She and I fought side by side against the poison in the dream. I saw the shadow of a terrible dragon, and I felt the dream call upon me to defeat it.
By the tree. A wild hunt so soon, and such a momentous task. To be a valiant of the wild hunt is a difficult charge. Bear this calling with pride.
I will. But how do I begin? One does not simply awaken and rush off to face a dragon.
You start here in our forest. There were others hurt in the dream. They could use your help. Besides, it'll be fine training for a new valiant.
That's a decent quest. I think that's a really good idea. But also, it leaves you wondering what to do next. That's what's next. What's more? Good. You could run that... Understanding what's like... Oh, okay. Understanding what makes a good start to your game, to your world, is critically important. And that's why playing the first little bit of several games and seeing how they do things is actually a decent way to get an idea. Hey, look! They do let me have my griffin. Now load the dice. Wait for it. Oh no, it's not gonna be died, because that's specific to the other character, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I think I actually made a Midnight Fire as well. Midnight Fire, colored griffin. So it lets me have my mount automatically. I don't think about it. Masteries. Okay, so they're not strictly unlocked. That's fair. But hey, we... Sorry. Like, it was a quest. I suffer in games when I can't see what I should be working towards. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this and get going on a living story, personal story again, because you can't replay the personal story. And when I jump into Living Story Season 1, I never actually played it. Could just missed it. I don't know. Oh yeah, because it happened when I was busy. I don't know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing, and that's really hard for me. I can't just jump in and do nothing. Doesn't feel right. Okay. Red bunny. That looks terrible. Here you go. That's better. Higher on the jackal. Yeah, and I don't have any of the others, including the skiff, which is a End of Dragons expansion. I like this Springer. Really trivializes a lot of content, that's for sure. The Griffin itself made things much more enjoyable to get around the world. It's not fast though. The Beetle Roller is apparently real fast, so I should give that a go. It does leave me with other questions about how to appropriately settle people into a world. Guild Wars 2 takes quite a bit of time to actually getting a raptor. Well, you've got more. Like, the raptor's leap is cool. Yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot more awesome movement coming. Also, special item. Oh, yes, the Heroes Band. I forgot that. That's from pre-ordering the original game. Fucking hell. Jeez. If you want to send me a friend request, contact Synology. Yeah, Methris 8074. Give that a go. Yeah, Leanna? Should be online. Now, I'm sure, I feel like everyone's heard this story before, but the hearts were a late addition to the game. They didn't have it figured out particularly well. They thought everyone would just go to the events. That's all you need. You travel from event to event, they'll create these places for you to wander to, and that's it. But we're too used to just having, like, direction that the players didn't know what to do. And that's a lesson, I gotta tell you. Learning the idea that, oh shit, no, sometimes direction is actually really important. I bet they didn't forget that. But hey, what a surprise that applies heavily to your tabletop games. Even in a place where they set up a very beautiful world, and I mean it. You can't see most of it, because I don't have world completion with this character. But they set up a really beautiful world, they set you in it, and then say, okay, go have fun. People can still look around and go, like, what the fuck do I do? I'm level 2, like, should I go talk to people? What's happening in this world? I'm confused. That's decent. Makes sense. A lot of things give us quite a lot of direction, and it doesn't feel freeing to be dropped in an almost empty world. And that's why you spend a bit of time settling your character as to who they are, what they want. And you get to use this as a way to get a little bit more into the world. This is a very quick quest on your tabletop, and that's worth doing. Even if you say, oh, we just spent a day doing odd jobs, and say, great, in your odd jobs, you helped Delilah keep the farmer's fields safe. Like, oh, right, what's that like? Oh, well, here's a little bit of flavor text for what that was like. Tasty cake. See. Just using the fact that I have larger account unlocks. Raptor. Yeah. It's good. It's a good game and it's a good world and it's enough to get like really sink into. And that's why I missed it when I left it. Even though I got into ESO relatively quickly to hang out with a one of my exes. I don't even think that was a waste either. That was a good time. But they haven't renamed their kitty yet, and that is a sin. If you're a ranger, you gotta rename your pets, man. She did? How'd she do that? Like, did she just pick it up and drag it? Marvel is usually so hesitant to, like, move things on her own terms. Like food, sure. But she makes us move her bed and blankets? God. No, we're about to have a problem that has thumbs. But he won't be able to use them at first. So like,
Fantastic. I have enough luminescence to make the town beautiful.
yeah.
Though I can always use more.
What?
I'll need more luminescence to relight the town's lamps.
Pet? Pat? Hug? Jeez. Must be forgetting how to do chat commands. I thought that was pretty generic, wasn't it? Well, guess not, huh? Maybe it's not a problem yet, I think is what we're actually going to say. He's going to have... Chat. Here you go. Weapon skill 3. What do we got? Go north. The dodge mechanic. But you're Leona. What did you name your character?
We have a problem. Seize the moment.
I think you need to talk down yourself too hard. I'm the one that entered the incorrect command 2 or 3 times. But I'll take a look in a moment.
It was nothing.
See, I kind of thought these would be account bound too, the way so many other things are. But I guess not, huh? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure I want to pick.
I owe you so much. A million thanks.
There you go. Bound braces. Where they are coming from?
Power flow at 30%. Rerouting.
I use the example of even if you create a beautiful world, you need to give people some guidance, set them up with something all the time, because people get really excited about their world building. Understandably, it's your baby. You love it. And you've got so many cool ideas. But that sort of stuff, it isn't as interesting to other people who don't have context. It's not their baby. And they may grow to love it. Hopefully they will. But they kind of need more reasons to get into it. And that's kind of related to what we do at Fenno. Because at the role-playing convention we ask people to please include a blurb for your game. Think of ways to advertise it to people as to why they'd want to play your game compared to anything else, anyone else. And just... it's necessary. We forget it sometimes too, but...
I only get better and better.
oh, buddy. Hey, rally. Great mechanic for a MMO. It doesn't really affect boss fights. Though I do remember thinking about tactically downstating yourself so you can get away with things. Change this armor and then regret what I look like. I really want to spend more transmutation charges. We'll see. I think that's the benefit of having, like, the outfits, isn't it? Jeez, did you see that? They needed help. Imagine this. You're roughly 10 to 15 minutes old, but you've, like, grown up a lot because you did a lot of learning in the dream. And you're just getting, like, used to a few things, and then you're attacked by undead. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And then a raptor leaps off a cliff. Oh. Well. So, I brought up the fact that the hearts were a relatively late addition to the game, based on like what they expected the world to look like, and how they, in initial playtest, people needed a bit more direction. I want to point out that they've added quite a lot to the world, and even late discovery has late in the discovery process, they've learned a lot about how good it can be and what it can add to your world. Because right now, we're playing with puppies. How much does that add to the world? That's amazing. And I don't... Two of them. I don't often play pet classes. Don't even have a necromancer.
Life is discovery.
I think there's something to be said about, like, being of the great tree and having a pet that's also come from the great tree. Will I? Raptor mount unlocked? Did they just give that to you now? No, they can't. Scruffy says woof! Oh, I love you, Scruffy. I have to only give me like one of each, right? Nope. I'm gonna get heaps. What a waste. It's only a temporary... Oh! That's interesting. Tell me more. Like, do they temp it? Like, they say, hey, do you want this? Then buy Path of Fire. So that's evil. And very effective. Especially on people like me. I've been playing for what? I've had like 4 sessions since I reinstalled. Eat it. And like, I've already thought about when do I get End of Dragons?
Not enough energy.
Oh, you dastardly. Dastardly! Good God. Want to see something terrible? Oh yeah, there's no gliding. Okay, well, we tried. I totally forgot that you can't just glide halfway up of that hero challenge. Recently! Oh.
It's huge.
Wow, jeez, that'd do it too. No, let me get up there, please. Come on. Oh. We did not get much time with that, did we? like in the core Tyria, like they gave you a taste of power and then you got addicted to it. You grew to love, you grew to rely on water too much, and because we didn't have it back in my day, there was none. Okay, cool. Like you ran and you liked it. You teleported a lot, but I feel the Heart of Thorns maps hate you on purpose. Fuck, that's good. That's not the back in my day. I want to. Take friends to the first part of the Far. Oh, yeah! Yeah, I remember doing that. I helped a few people in the guild be like, hey, I'll get you the raptor as soon as you want. Don't worry. You still needed to buy the expansion. Alright, I'll help that guy.
This battle is over.
I'll freely admit the amount of combat you experience in a video game is drastically different to the amount of combat you should have in your tabletop game because of the amount of time each combat spends, like takes. To overcome that, I often recommend that your combat in the tabletop are like, make them dangerous. Talk about how you do cool shit all the time. And then, to really hammer it in, make it 100%. Sometimes, occasionally have combats that the players like can resolve quickly. World of Darkness does that. It's a sorry, Chronicles of Darkness, not World. Chronicles has a quick combat, down and dirty combat. You resolve most of it in a single roll. Do that, and also take the idea that maybe you can do those quick combats where the players can't lose. Yeah. Why? Oh, it makes them feel cool! At least it can. Why don't you have a little scenario where the players are going to absolutely wreck someone and can't lose? Oh, are we still in combat, huh? Oh no, I can't use this in main hand. Let's just double check. No, we can't. Thought so.
We've arrived.
Oh, this is main hand only. Okay. Oh, sausage. I can get your head. It's okay. Here you go, girl. Makes it feel powerful. Exactly. If you want double strong, do it in against an enemy they struggled with at some point. Just once, not too often. It just helps reiterate the idea that they've grown and changed and got more powerful. That can be really good. Something that's actually kind of taken away from you in tabletop games when everything's supposed to be appropriately scaled. You can, like... That could suck if you want to feel development. The bounded accuracy in D&D 5e has that feeling occasionally to some people. Like, you're always kind of rolling for the same sort of numbers. You can't feel like you're going to automatically hit. And that's, like, for a game balance, that's good. Didn't see that. She said me? Hey, Captain. Oh, the very cute cat was having a good time stealing some of Emma's soup. The babies. Okay. Soup thief, yeah. Can only imagine how much worse it'll be for the two of us when it's a child that's demanding attention and the animals notice that we're distracted with him. And so they can get up to more mischief. We will see. Jimbles, please. Okay, good. Jumping puzzles. They're clever. They reach for the gaming experience of like, I just want to see what happens if I try and go here. I know you don't want me to. What happens if I try? Okay. Yeah, well, clearly they stressed me out too. They added one or two of them to Final Fantasy XIV, but I've never been amazing at them. Honestly, I spent quite a lot of time like brute forcing them. Like, definitely not going to get an achievement for this one, given that achievements are account based. But just showing it off is good. It's really hard to replicate this sort of experience for a tabletop game. I know I harp on about that a lot, but that's kind of my beat, right? I talk tabletop games, I play video games, and we compare the two of them. Oh, jeez. Tense than I was playing Stranger of Paradise. Ah, man. Well, if we dodge roll off a cliff, I think it's time to move on. Yeah, jumping puzzle, things that require manual dexterity less frequently. If it might not be a jumping puzzle, it is a puzzle. Something that's closest to it. Ads are they're terrifying. You say they just chill for a minute. Bonk.
You'll be safe on my watch.
Miraculously quick. Quiet. My disguise may be convincing, but the Nightmare Court is ever vigilant. These are dark times. They're taking villages from Astoria and turning them to our cause. What can I do to help? Oh, that's right. If your courage is the equal of your conviction, I can disguise you as a member of the Nightmare Court. If the guy succeeds, you can enter Briarthorn and disrupt their operation. I'll do whatever needs to be done. I'm ready. So, the closest thing you get to a jumping puzzle in a tabletop game is Dread, where you play with the Jenga tower. And when the GM calls for it, or you try and do something dramatically appropriate, you remove something in the Jenga tower. And Dread is encapsulated really well by its name, because like the longer you play in this horror RPG, the harder each action is, and eventually it will collapse and your character will die. Similar idea with 13 Candles. The pup watches your every move. Its eyes are filled with curiosity. Play with the pup. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's possible to do a jumping puzzle. What do? Just say, do you jump? Roll in athletics. Roll in athletics. Roll in athletics. Like, that's boring.
It's short.
Logic puzzle, yes. I see you eyeing my hounds. Perhaps you feel drawn to training them? I might. What's involved? We beat them until they only know obedience and savagery. They must fear their master to the point of sacrificing themselves to avoid their master's ire. Wow, you suck. Briarthorn Den is under my control. Tread lightly, or I will have you vivisected and served to the hounds. Who are you? Such arrogance. I hold your life in my hands, and you insult me with your trivial questions. For such insolence, I should festoon the gates with your entrails. Like, I think they're a great narrative device, and they're easy to hate and enjoyable to hate. I love that. I love that for them, right? What do? They try to act like cartoon villains as much as possible because they think that's the only way to be self-sufficient. They gotta love dragging down the lines in your face. Look like you smile far too often. My smile has thorns. Ah, so it does. Good. I see you enjoy the nightmares you inflict upon others. You'll fit in here just fine. You get some lore from them as well, and I think that's... Yeah, see? Increases charisma. What does that matter? It's not even here. It used to be, like, there. No, not equipment. It was here. You'd have your disposition. There, you could mouse over it and tell you how much you've gone in a direction. But, like, not anymore. Just kind of dummied out. It doesn't change anymore. Not losing much. It may not be realistic, but it's good to have a mix for villains. Yeah. You can do it, buddies. You'll be alright. Just endure the pain a little bit more. We'll get you out of here. It's interesting to have, like, you're needed near the gate. Commander demands your presence. Sounded urgent. Yeah, and that...
Thank you. I feel whole again.
That was a check. Like, are you charming enough for them to believe you? It was something that was worth like considering. So... It does suck that they're gone. Oh. Underwater combat unlocked. So... What was I saying? Villains. Yeah, I think it's great to have a mix of types of villains. Because it is nice to have, like, cunning people, people who can, like, be reasoned with, but not really. That's good fun. Compared to some enemies who just immediately, like, you don't have to kill them on sight, you can have some witty banter, but you can't really get along with them. Nightmare Court, you can ally against them, against a common enemy. See Heart of Thorns and a bit of scrap story that was involved there. I don't want to spoil you, Leona. Oh no, can't use that mount underwater. Better pull out the skimmer. Yeah, baby. It's actually one of the ones I haven't maxed, skimmer. Anyway, working on it. Whoosh. I am showing off, yes. That's the whole point. It's a bonus stream. I don't actually have much more of a point other than just like, hey, come hang out with me for a few hours. We'll talk for a little bit. Apparently Aurene is a mount you can get later. Just haven't got that far. That's more of the living story that I haven't got to. Because I made the decision to like, oh, let's go back and do season 1 or something. Let's not start something. So I don't really know what's supposed to be happening. That is someone who needs to be saved, so... God, that's fun. Drive off the remaining horde. Okay, let's give him a go. You can hear Emma giggling as she's watching a video, and I'm very pleased for her. It's really good. It's Friday, right? At least in our part of the world. Apologies. I do a couple of things on Friday, like fortnightly, sometimes weekly. And sometimes they're a little, like, they can come on the same day, and then I'm, like, really busy. One of them... Make a, like, fortnightly newsletter for my Plex server, which is a very insane thing to do, but that's just who I am. And I recorded one earlier today, and it's just because I like Fridays. I like the weekend. I think they're, one is too short. It's undervalued too. It's super enjoyable to think, ah yes, some days now to do very little. My time is truly my own again. And this is the flip side of feeling like I resent the fact that I have to be in the office so much. And it's even far less than other people. I can work from home a lot. But... Jeez. Oh yeah, my gathering tools are not account bound, are they? I got some of the infinite tools on my main. That's probably why I don't play alts that often. Equipment. Okay, I've got everything but shoulders, so we can just toss these. Because you can't sell these. I'm pretty sure you can't.
Begin destruction protocol.
See, I was wondering what the hell that was for a bit until I realized it's my copper-fed salvage-o-matic. Yeah, I did eat that delicious cupcake. Makes sense.
And you shall find.
Yeah, right.
See something? No.
These vistas are a great idea. Absolutely brilliant idea. Final Fantasy XIV does like a camera fly through when you start a new dungeon. You can make it replay each time. A lot of people just have it the first time you go through. But this, fantastic. I'm not going to say artists don't get enough credit. What I'm saying is artists deserve more credit. Do they get enough? Who knows? We talk about how beautiful art is for games all the time. But like, that's fantastic, is it not? It's already in the game. That's my big thought. Like, if it's already in the game, you should at least have a way to showcase it. Show it off. And they did. And I'm pleased with them. That's also very similar to how I feel about your world building on the tabletop. Like, if you're going to create it, show it off. Make it good. Make it big. Make it important. Let people know that you worked hard on it. Did you know there's a secret here? What? it's a mini dungeon. Oh, cool, there we go. So since it's a mini dungeon, it will occasionally appear on the... Oh, yeah. I think I forgot to mention. Got auto loot. It's not... Thank you. Yeah, AoE loot, yes, auto loot. Like, that's a mastery. But there's something about the loot feedback that makes you like... It's important early on to feel like you're getting stuff, but once you've gotten over... Random drops are unlikely to be something amazing most of the time, so your excitement from them dims pretty quickly. It's better to turn to auto loot, so having it as a level up or mastery feature, clever idea. Not bad at all. Right, I didn't know you could glide in here. That makes things harder. And in some ways, easier. Apparently this sort of jumping puzzle is more my speed. Ones you can skip with your glider. Both paths are acceptable, I believe. Yeah, the Super Adventure box, which came around on April Fool's, and like some people really loved because of the retro throwback feel. It's mostly a really difficult jumping puzzle. So I don't think I even finished it once. It's a bit of a shame, right? Fuck. Rats. Anyway, get up there and there's the chest. I think the blue glowstone is not mandatory, but it gives you light, and that helps. Maybe with the reshade presets, I don't strictly need it. Oh! What? You can mount in here? Alright, who cares? Oh, baby. Oh, okay. So it's only there. Well, let's just skip most of it then. Just a lovely little thing if you haven't seen it before. Oh, cool. Destroy the large undead generators. Okay. Don't mind if I do, buddy. Long way around. Build the combo, release the combo. Okay, let's try it again. Build, release. Yeah, now we've got the might. Combo fields, great idea. Weirdly enough, that sort of thing doesn't come up that often in a lot of tactics games. Sorry, tabletop games. I believe the best example I've seen so far, and that's just me what I've seen, I'm not saying it's the only one, but Hunter the Reckoning, so not Vigil, the Chronicles of Darkness version, has Hunter tactics. Like, I don't love that you need to spend Hunter experience on them. No, Vigil. Yeah, Hunter the Vigil. But you can learn interesting techniques that like nullify dread powers for monsters. dread powers being a catch-all terminology for like vampires when you're not playing vampires, so you don't want to use the full vampire rules, plus using the full vampire rules makes them less scary. Or if you just say, oh, it's a vampire thing, I don't want you to know exactly what it is. That adds a bit more horror to it. Good job. Clever writing. Chronicles of Darkness writers, very smart. To say the more you know about the enemy, especially in Hunter, the less scary they are, so don't use the full splats. Make something up that's similar. Like, so I do. Oh man, what a good view. You can, I think the example they use is like you break the fangs of a vampire as a pack tactics. Like, as a hunter team, you crack the vampire's teeth with a set of pliers. And like, 1, and 2, clever. And it gives you a couple of examples, lists a bunch on the page, and then it also says, let your players invent them. Let them come up with like solutions for the things they need, okay? Because that's going to be a lot of fun. And make their own fun out of it. Boy, do I approve of that. So we don't have any of these yet, but I've rebound them so I don't have to reach across my keyboard as far. That's actually pretty important. With my wrist issues, I can't... Oh, fuck, I demonstrate by showing you what the thing I'm not supposed to do is. Reaching across my keyboard is very bad. Oh, we're level 10 now. And now it's like, continue the story. Keith, sighting religion. Valiant, a wanderer has been sighted in the Caledon forest. Villagers say they've seen a white stag roaming the forest. Legends tell of such a thing, and the pale tree herself has said that it is a spirit of protection and wisdom. I remember seeing the image of this creature in your dream. Somehow you have a connection to the white stag. We must speak of your dream to the leader of your cycle and see if it can interpret its meaning. Perhaps he may even be the one to capture the stag and bring it safely to the mother's care. Return to the grove and I will tell you more. Oh, hey, Games from the Wildwood. I was talking about you earlier today. I didn't expect to see you. Today, as in earlier on the stream, I pointed out how character creation in Guild Wars has a very similar to Powered by the Apocalypse character creation, where it's got like a statement and then a gap, and you fill that in with a list of pre-selected options. It's only 3. It's an MMO, right? But how that reminded me a lot of how some Powered by the Apocalypse playbooks work. You've got a list of options, choose one that's the most appropriate, go from there. And how that adds some interesting diversity, but really gives you a massive springboard. The principle! Exactly. And I just think it's really clever. God, for someone who appreciates the design philosophies of Powered BTBA so much, I really don't play enough of them. Because, like, who has the fucking time, right? I was floored when you mentioned last night, oh, I'll do it after Pathfinder. And I said to Emma, Wildwood's in a Pathfinder game? It's so mechanically heavy. Because that's what we want, of course. To be pigeonholed by our design taste into the only thing we play. 3... Wow. It's more than me. I had 3 one weekend and I was kind of tired. Okay, well, yeah, story it is. Let's go. Oh, scary. One of those people like, I don't see their name on Twitter that often anymore. And they probably left for very good reasons. But now I'm like, oh, geez, I've got to catch them in person sometime. Oh, yes, Leona. It's like, you're right. There are too many options that don't impact the story. And there's a lot of them. And also, Final Fantasy XIV's story is fucking long. It's really long. The weird thing is, it gets good the more you play it. And it's not just sunk cost fallacy, I swear to God. It's just that a lot of things are foreshadowed or circled back to, and they make even the first time they appear better. And that's why a lot of people saying, have you played the award-winning story? And the first time through, you're like, is it that good? And then later, you're like, actually, it is. Maybe a little sad that Final Fantasy 16 is on PlayStation 5 only. So I don't have a PS5. I'm not going to get one. I don't need a console. I will never use it. I'm just moving to Corey's couch. Play it there, right? See what he's up to. Wes March's game. I'm always torn between, like... I feel like a Wes March's game, as in it's drop in, drop out, short-term adventures. Like... I'd get stuck on the variable amounts of role-playing you'd get. Like, stuck as in I'd love that. The different characters, the people who are playing them who show up each time. Like, that would be so fucking cool. Just have the different dynamics of the party each time. Awesome. I will click it to assign stats. What are you talking about?
Right within these walls.
No stats.
Never know.
Oh. Whoops. You have an item? You mean all of my gear except the weapons?
It's so exciting to be here at the hub of it all.
We rarely see humans here. What brings you to the grove?
Tyria's a spring blossom.
Truth is,
opening
I
its
took a
petals
jig
before
when I
me.
should have taken a jag. I was heading toward Lion's Arch.
You're way off track. I bet you can't even find your mouth when you're hungry. Just joking.
Yeah. That would be great. I'd understand why there could be a delay, or if someone's like, no, I'm just in for my weekly or fortnightly when I can make it. Kind of decades reached. It must be bought in order. Right. Well, I can't say I hate that. That's cool as hell. How do I get more of those? Probably doing this. Yeah, okay. Decade of the Dragons. Okay, we can do that. Let's go. Let's do it. Some people are like, I'm just here for my weekly game. My enjoyable mechanics. Let's see how far I can go with it when I'm available. Compared to like people who are super into the idea of that changing all the time. Especially if you're like, we are a mercenary company. Like, covering that, getting deep into it would be so enjoyable. Ah, that leitmotif from Fear Not This Night. I believe there's a recording from many years ago of Emma Stitcher singing it, and it is just beautiful. But I think I have it handy. That doesn't mean I can't convince her to do it again sometime. Especially as we recently got a secondary microphone, so we don't even have to go through as much of rigmarole to swap it over on the mixer. Yeah, I'll eat 20 pieces of candy in a row. Fear Not This Night. God, I love that interaction. Just eat 20 pieces of candy and you immediately throw up. So funny. It's so goofy. That's one of the things MMOs embrace more readily than other games. And it's an inconsistent tone, baby. They enjoy the fact that it is an absolute shit show a lot of the time. Not recently? Oh, it was a long time ago now. I think it was done at Guitar something. No. Guitar Place. That first singing tutor. You were singing in the kitchen earlier. Oh my god. Maybe that's why it's in my head. That's so good. Frit Vision! Yeah! Fret, guitar, definitely the same word. Alright, call to service. Let's go. I think we'll play this cutscene, and then I'll go on break. Just have a quick walk around. Item equipped. I steal? What are you talking about? Nope. No. Oh, okay. Somehow I missed that earlier. Could get vigorous so I won't die as much, but Kadesi wears full berserker, so I'm used to dying all the time. No sustainability. Who needs healing when you got an axe?
Hail, Valiant. I am glad that you have come.
I don't know who the voice actor for Keith is. It's pretty good. You've
Valiant.
heard
This is
Liam
Mary,
O'Brien in the
one of
background a
disciples
lot
of
so
Jade.
far.
She is a firstborn, and has offered to speak with you about your dream.
I would be honored, Firstborn. Can you help me understand what I have seen?
Speak to me. I will illuminate.
I saw a glorious white stag standing in a forest, and I feared for its safety.
When I was told a white stag had been seen in the Caledon forest, I remembered the image from your dream. Such a thing cannot be a coincidence. In your dream, what happened to the stag?
I ate him.
I don't know. I just knew that the animal was in danger, and I wanted to save it.
Save him as
As
leftovers.
a matter of fact, such a stag was seen near the Verdants. Pursue it. Stalk it. The rush of the chase will give your vision clarity.
Often, what we see in the dream guides us to lessons we might learn. Travel quickly, and be ready for danger.
Alright, we're gonna leave you with this beautiful music. I'll be back in 15 minutes. A lot of people just joined, so my apologies. Don't worry, you can leave me in the background and enjoy your Twitch drops, okay? Mwah. Cocktail time.
many dangers.
You met someone from the Nightmare Court? And you survived?
I did. Others didn't.
What are they like?
Members of the Nightmare Court are cruel. They're capable of terrible evil. When you're near them, you feel nothing from them but cold emptiness. When the Nightmare Court was stalking us, it was the darkest night I've ever known.
You must have been terrified. How did you get away?
We run faster than those who didn't.
Have you heard? There's a human in the grove.
I heard. I plan to go in search of it tomorrow.
The datura bush outside my hut is blooming. Its flowers spiral open.
I've seen them. They have great wisdom.
Internet is connected. We had a minor disconnect, but we should be back now. Servers up. Network's up. Back. Okay, cool. Okay. Great. What was I talking about?
Terrified. How did you get away?
We run fast.
I'm back. Yeah, I didn't intend to disappear too far. I may need to refresh my chat here. Why is that pinned? Okay, fair enough. Alright, so what was I doing? Talking about this cocktail. 45 milliliters of limoncello because it's really tasty. Love that lemon plus vodka flavor. That's limoncello for you. It's delicious. And 30 ml of Krupnik, which is a honey liqueur. And it is a liqueur. It's really sweet. It's a good drink. I think it's very impressive. God, don't have it by itself. Not even on ice. It's too sweet and too honey flavored. And too strong. Thank you, Leanna. And I don't know your dietary requirements, but I'll get right to that. And then I added just 15 ml of the Archie Rose barrel-aged honey spirit. That's a spirit. It's 50%. It kicks your ass. Friend of the channel, Luxie, has had her shit rocked by it. So be careful. And then just 15 ml of lime juice, because I had some limes. And then garnish. Leanna, I'd love to. Problem is, I don't know what you enjoy. I don't know your dietary requirements either. So the first thing I do is like fruity, sweet, tart, strong. What do you think? Let's go from there, okay? So throw some things at me. Not just drinks you've already previously enjoyed. Tell me about, tell me about flavors. Tell me about ingredients. Tell me about especially strong, weak, fruity. Fruity cocktails are amazing. They're underrated, let me tell you. Honestly, when I go out, I'll get a cocktail. I'll get, most of the time, a scotch or a... Can I unpin that? That's pinned. Unpin after 1 minute? 1 second. Yeah, closest menu. Cool. Go away. I'll get like a scotch on the rocks, or I'll look for one of their custom cocktails, something cool. Or I'll get a Cosmo, because Cosmos are great. They're incredible drinks. Alright, fine. French 75? Oh, they're classic. Apparently, they're named after a cannon. As I learned today from Greg from How to Drink. Cheers, Greg. It's fucking... They're powerful. They're lovely. Like, gin plus champagne. Brilliant. Not the only thing in it, but certainly some key ingredients. Alright, let's get on with some story. I can do world completion later. Plus, I've done complete world completion. Everything up to Path of Fire on Candacia, so... If I need stuff, I'll just grab stuff from her bank. Okay, to feel fancy like one of those. I'd start with a Cosmo. Let you have a sip and go, do you like that? The citrus taste with the combined with the cranberry juice, which is generally a good start. We can go on from there, and I'd recommend, you like gin, you can get an alternate Vesper with a flavored botanicals. Okay, so you gave me a really good one there. Utility. There we go. You gave me a good hint there. I'd lean into botanicals. I'd get a very herby gin, something like the Botanist. Yeah, me too. Sour beers are fantastic. Even if they get further and further away from the definition of a beer, they're still good. We'll go say. So also it's summer where you are too, so no wonder you're leaning towards that. All right, summer cocktail. The Botanist gin. It's good. Lots of herbs. It's beautiful. I'd add a couple of extra juniper berries on top as garnish. Throw in a little cranberry juice. It's clever. Just 15 mil to 30 mil of your gin. And then mojitos. We've got a flavored gin. Right now we're looking into flavored gin. Let's serve it in a coupe with 15 mil of mezcal and then put a salt rim on it. It's got to be a light mezcal because that smoke is going to way overpower your gin botanicals because it's such a delicate drink. But I love adding smoke to things, whether it's by like a smoker that Emma got me or just using mezcal. Mezcal, it's tequila with flavor. What do you have for me? These appear to be tracks of a large hoofed animal. A stag, perhaps? Second set of tracks. Alright, well, let's go. Takes notes. Herbage like botanist, extra juniper berry, cranberry juice, saving a coupe with a light mezcal and salt rim. Alright, give it a go. Yeah, what specifically winter drinks. Summer drinks are like the term. And it was the successful selling of Negronis under Aperol Spritz and the resurgence of Aperol in 2018 that made Negronis really popular. Said essentially the Aperol Spritz and similar drinks are the drink of the summer. Brilliant advertising campaign, fucking worked, and now we actively take notes as to what to drink in each season. Winter, can't go wrong with a mulled cider or mulled wine. Cloves, cinnamon, oranges. Dump an apple into apple cider. Cook over low heat. Oh, I didn't read that at all. Whoops. Good stout. Very good. Really hit and miss for stouts. Stouts are most often going to be the drink that sets off a weird allergy for me. A strong dark beer will often make my chest feel tighter than normal. And that's unfortunate, because they're delicious. The stag tracks are quite fresh. They lead north into the nearby caves. In we go. And now you have an instance! Yeah, of course, call to service. Yeah, well, you live and you learn, right? I do what I can. Get by with cocktails or large boilermakers. Oh, cannot underrate the importance of a good boilermaker. Can I not? Okay. Demon stats. I don't have enough skill points to get...
Is someone there? Please help me.
Demon training. I don't know if I can yet. Maybe it's because I'm in an instance. Oh. Apparently, from what I've learned from people growing their own herbs, do not put that mint plant in the ground. That's right. I forgot. These are set by stance. So now...
Is someone there? Please help me.
Unblockable. Resistance. Okay. Well, it's not that useful. Putting a lot of conditions out, though. Good. I hear you, Liam O'Brien, I swear.
I feel furious.
So, I honestly don't have a problem with... since we're streaming, just gonna
Is someone there? Please help me.
remove the guild chat. Just because they didn't consent to being on screen, that's all. Let's not be mean to them.
They overwhelm me. I need aid.
You'll be okay, Gavin. I'm just gonna hit this guy with a stick. Or I'll miss. So, like, talking about the personal story, I actually don't have a problem
I need your aid.
with how it seems like it's, like, really specific to your character and your background for 1 to 30. And as you level up, it becomes more about the pact and, like, the paths, which start separate, heaps of them, and then converge and then continue in a couple of different ones. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's actually really cool. And it... not to be a jerk, but they're kind of like... that's how a lot of stories are done, especially role-playing game stories, right? Dragon Age Origins did the same thing.
Are you wounded? I am. But I can't
There were
let that hit me.
callbacks, and that's important.
I'm looking for a white stag. If I let it escape, the consequences will be dire.
Then we have something in common. I'm also looking for the stag. Have you seen it?
It was here, but it fled to the eastern woods before I could catch it. And then the undead arrived. You have done me a good turn, and you seem strong and swift. If we hunt together, we might have more luck.
I'd be glad to work with you. Let's begin our hunt at once.
We must leave.
Oh, are you, Leona? Okay. I was at one point developing a list of games that could be considered like important cultural things. Like, why was Warcraft 3 so important to many of our people, many people my age? And I mean, it was a project, but it didn't really go too far. I just developed a list and then put it online. It's like, there you go. These are games that are important to me and my friends. Didn't do enough of the work that's like, here's why? Then again, I'm not a video game researcher, so I'll leave it up to someone else.
My wound weakens me. I need to catch my breath.
Jason Pardon. Some others. These sort of cutscenes don't appear after the personal story,
Will, and they'll tear it apart.
which is a
We
shame,
must keep looking. We
because
must.
the mortal quality is
You
not
need to
bad.
rest, Gavin. You were badly wounded. We'll keep going, but not to the point of risking your life.
My life means nothing compared with finding the stag. Still, you are right. I'm of little use to you like this. I shall seek healing and meet you near Caer Verdun when my health is improved.
That is the wisest course of action. The stag is a wild animal and a creature of the dream. It will survive for a while. So.
That sounds maybe a little gendered, doesn't it? I wonder what that could be about.
I hear adventure calling.
Yeah. But I'm not going to say it out loud. That's for you to say.
We have completed the task at hand.
No, we're all full up. Maybe we should have waited. Ads. Yeah, see, I try. You're not going to hear this at all. Shout out to everyone in the VODs. And no, everyone else is just like lurking. Also, hey lurkers, you're welcome. You don't need to be part of the community. Sorry, you don't need to talk to be part of the community. You can just hang out. It's alright. Most important things about enjoying the streams with me is whether you find me pretty and or entertaining. Yeah, it reeks agenda. We both know it. Well, I'm glad your brother doesn't just accept it as fact, right? Who knows? I think it's... welcome back. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad your brother knows. That's what I'm saying. You just accepted as that's how the world works? That would suck. Like, Amber Stitches didn't have much experience in video games as well before we got involved. Come to it. There's a fantastic, like, it's gone viral video by Rasputin who talks about, like, what gaming is like for someone who doesn't game that often. And, like, great video, absolutely fantastic. The lessons learned, incredible. Boy, it's hard to move a character in a three-dimensional space when you're not used to it. This is unintuitive. I'm just not pointing at my crotch. Calm down, Twitch. This is unintuitive, man. This doesn't make any friggin' sense unless you've been doing it since you're like 4. A lot of people playing games, they have. Before I have memory of doing it, my parents told me that I fixed a Linux distribution because it was unable to play the games I wanted, so I just followed the steps my dad did to make it boot into Windows. Not that hard. It's before I have memory, though. Right? How are newcomers supposed to get that, right?
Gavin, are you feeling better?
I am, thanks to you.
I don't use the right-hand side of the keyboard when gaming. At least in Guild Wars, right? It's mouse.
Tower over there gives me an idea.
Essentially up to 5 to the left.
You have a true hunter's instincts, Valiant.
I actually really wish I could use my controller, because I have a really bad wrist injury that flares up when I stretch too far. For new people or anyone watching the VODs who catches this later, just like taking a look at Guild Wars. Did I crash? No, there we go. I got the wrist injury by having shower sex. Oh, shit. I tried. I got the wrist injury by having shower sex. And everyone's like, oh, you got it masturbating. I'm like, no. Right subject, wrong target, honestly. She was very sorry, and it was absolutely none of her fault. I just didn't want to stop at the time. The next morning, it was swollen up real huge. It's like, holy shit. And it's been bad ever since.
We cannot alert the stag to our presence.
Oh yeah, I forgot you can't glide in personal instances. Okay. They're fine. My monitor's misbehaving. Hold on. I can see the screen on like the Streamlabs window, but I can't see it on my main monitor. I'll have to spend a bit of time fixing it later. So, chase stag till it gets tired.
It flees. Now, to the hunt.
Warframe! Oh. Hold control with your pinky finger, or controller shift to sprint. That fucks with my wrist real bad too. Maybe I should try it with the controller, because it is on PlayStation, so it should have controller support. So like, friends get into it. I love it in theory, it's just I'd like to do each mission maybe once or twice. And they would like me to do each mission 50 to 70 times a day. No. Hyperbole. But fun. And I don't know, when it comes to like grinding things that should be considered story events, I hate it. But grinding experience in a Final Fantasy JRPG where it's accepted separate part of the system, I don't hate it.
The beast is beginning to tire.
Not that I did the grinding yesterday that I expected. In a Final Fantasy VIII playthrough, I'm like, well, we're in the garden. I could do a little grind, right? But I didn't. But I mean, I've got until Wednesday next week. Invoke Malak's
pursuit. Soon we shall have him.
Lore-wise, I don't know who Melix is. I should probably find out.
The last efforts of a weary beast. We are winning.
Nope. We'll figure it out later. Oh, there's more of them. All right.
Victory. The white stag is ours. Excellent work, Valiant. But now I must leave, and I will be taking the white stag with me.
Gavin, no!
You're welcome to come, of course.
Oh, never mind.
Your skills as a hunter would be an asset to the court.
Wait, which court?
Nightmare Court.
Oh no!
Who are they, and what are you doing? Gavin, the stag must go back to the grove. Kate is waiting for us there.
No, my noble friend. The white stag is coming with me.
Curse your inevitable
Once we return to
betrayal!
the nightmare, the stag will be a powerful
How could this
weapon
happen?
against the dream.
Other than
It
we
is a manifestation
probably should have
of
expected it.
faith. In nightmare,
It's Liam O'Brien, for
just
fuck's
the
sake. He
opposite.
played Illidan.
Creature of despair and
It
hatred.
would be surprising if we expected him to betray us all, betray the whole party in
Hail
Critical
King,
Role, right?
freed of the chains
Either
forged
of his
by
characters.
Antari's talent.
Any of the three.
A weapon. Gavin, this is wrong. The white stag is a peaceful creature. You can't turn it into something cruel.
I can.
I mean,
We can. Come with me.
you can't do this. I
Celebrated,
bet I can.
possibly even knighted by the Grand Duchess herself.
No, Gavin. I'll never join the Nightmare Court.
Ah, that's a pity. It grieves me greatly to turn predator into prey, Valiant. But I cannot have you interfere. Farewell.
Okay. Oh, wait, no, I need to attack him.
It's a shame.
Oh, he's just running?
Loyal friend. And now a debased death.
Nightmare Court Hounds. Horrible. Bonk. Okay, something's got to be broken. It shouldn't be this easy. I remember having more trouble at the beginning of many things. Maybe Rivet is just easy. Maybe I'm enjoying the account bonuses, but I don't think they go to damage. It's just I get extra gold and experience. Oh, love that. Should have chosen the one where... So, in the personal story for some Silvari, you meet someone called Malik. Malik's like, oh, I come from another tree. I don't know what you're talking about, the pale tree, and it's someone else, what? I'm like, sure, dog. Tell me all about it. You help him get some extra information. But that thread is just dropped. It's not covered again. We thought it would come back in Heart of Thorns, because, like, that makes sense, but nope. You get the feeling that a lot of threads were set up and then dropped in Heart of Thorns. There's supposed to be more of the Nightmare Court, explaining why you're fighting alongside them in Dragon Stand. Yeah. I've got good memories of that game. Sadness, yeah. And, like, sometimes that makes sense. Well, you can't do everything you want in a game sometimes, but still. It does make me wonder what they wanted to do with it, and I could ask Jess what she was going to do. She probably won't respond. She's definitely moved on from Guild Wars. Oh well.
This battle is over.
Sure is, buddy. But the kid, like, probably well known now, and like it's several years since, so maybe I won't get in trouble for admitting spoilers, but the reason Silvari can't be turned into can't be turned into, like, other dragon thralls is because they are minions of Mordremoth. That was their purpose the whole time. That's a cool twist. Love it. Very cool. Which tree is Malik talking about then? Hey, it's actually easy to assume, but I'd like to know for sure. Leona. You're in trouble for that. You're horrible. Alright. Damn it. Why am I so bad at this jumping puzzle in particular? I did this a couple days ago. First try. I guess I'm just too far away. Let's zoom in on the camera. See our terrible gear. Fucking brat. I'm not saying you'll regret what happens next, but it will be funny. I think the appropriate response is, what are you going to do? Fly up to Canada? No. Because if I could, I'd definitely be on holiday. Emma spent a few years growing up in America. She is Australian, born in Canberra. Spent most of her time growing up here, did a couple of years of high school in America. But, like, it would be very cool to visit some of the places in California that she spent growing up. And if you're on the other side of the world, visit another continent, might as well make a go of it. So the America trip would be likely the North America's trip. Right? Look, we did it! Fuck! Oh, jeez. As if in the process of saying we did it! Oh, that's gonna make a great clip that I'm definitely gonna do myself. Also, the tower's down again because I didn't defend it, because I thought we'd totally be fine. We were not. Okay, well. Yeah, well. Yeah, right? I don't need the tower to be up. I've got a Springer. Okay. Come to... You're subtle, Leona. You're real subtle. I would anyway, though, because I'm big into the Canadian comedy troupe Loading Ready Run. Of course. Because they're really funny and they've got the same kind of offbeat and generally positive attitude that I appreciate. So, Victoria Island isn't that far away from Vancouver, so I do both. I'd like to see where big city living intersects with the Canadian, the stereotypical Canadian attitude of like friendliness and openness. Whenever I'm in Japan, which I say I've been twice in my life, I pretend to be Canadian instead of Australian because Australians overseas are drunken louts that everyone hates because they party too hard and too loudly. I'm not exactly a loud partying person. Oh, I party. It's just not like that. Yeah. And I'm also, like, I'm on Duolingo. I don't spend as much effort as I should right now. Like, I'm admitting that I should put more effort into it. Learning French, so I can pretend to be a Canadian who had to take French in high school and never did anything since. Like, just enough to pretend that I'm more Canadian than I am now. Like, that's such a strange thing. Why do you want to learn another language for that reason? Like, Well, it is also just kind of fun. It's the biggest part. But also, it's really funny to me to pretend to be Canadian for a bit. Right? There's a second part to this jumping puzzle, and this part is much fucking harder. To the point where I'm pretty sure I'm going to fall to my death. So I won't. And I know French is mandatory for at least several years in Canada, and that's good. It's one of your national languages. Australia doesn't have any other national language other than English, being a colonized nation by England. Like, they just gave up. Yeah, right? Support me doing that. In case I end up working for the government in Canada. But my polycule. And hopefully eventual commune. They all live here in Australia. And I love them. Clicking on my abilities! Send! Jimbles, the internet will have your guts for garters if you continue doing that. Fuck. Do that. Got another heal. Okay. Yeah, alright, that's fair. I will take French to work for the Canadian government. When I was a services analyst and not having an amazing time doing it, I did open up Indeed and look at Indeed.ca and wonder if I should apply for jobs over there. But like, God, the change in lifestyles that would require. It's almost exciting, really. Could go to Big Bad Con. Yeah, what experience do you have running cons? Just a lot. Just a lot. Just several years of it in Canberra, actually. Oh, yeah, it's another, like, very much like yours. It's a non-profit, role-playing centered con, you know. Games from the Wildwood, who was in chat earlier. Lovely person. Helping us run Feta this year, and, like... They went to Big Bad? Little envious. That's so cool. Right? Shit. Heal. Swap. Heal again. Dodge. We're dead. Yeah, we don't have enough to get through it. Oh, wait, no, down. Yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot about down states. The whole time I was panicking, thinking we're fucked. We may even live. The bursting brambles got us, I think. Shit. Nah. Well, we tried. Oh. Too close to Final Fantasy. Click on a thing and it'll just take you to it a lot of the time. Oh, thank you. I've been playing for an hour. Very helpful. You're hooked. I assure you, I'm just as interesting in real life, but there's less of a power imbalance. Right now I have the camera and the microphone, and I can speak instead of type, and that gives me more power compared to chat. And we need to be aware of that, because it's funny. And I exploit that for horny reasons. Big Bad, I highly recommend it. Absolutely fantastic. I believe Big Bad 2023 is happening. I think they've done pre-sale of tickets via Kickstarter, but you can still sign up for the con later. And then I think they do their game sign-ups via Warhorn. A application allows you to like pick which sessions you're going into. Good system, not what we want to use for our local con. Because it puts more onus on people setting their own schedule. If we manage the schedules ourselves, we can get more games running for more people. It takes extra work, so much extra work. We do it anyway, we love it. Powerless chat. No. The thought I had that I nearly said.
Case, I need your help. Gavin, the hunter working with me to track the white stag, has betrayed
Very
me.
good. Play it up.
I
Enjoy
don't
the
understand
drama.
what he's done.
That's what you're for.
He said something about using the stag as a weapon, and that Venturi's tablet was evil. He said he was a member of the Nightmare Court.
The Nightmare Court.
Fuck! Sorry,
You're
thorns.
right to come to me. They believe that Venturi's tablet has turned the tree
Good,
away
you're
from
doing
the
well then.
nature of the dream. They embrace pain and darkness. And they
Yeah.
claim that
The,
Venturi's
I don't
lessons have
do the
corrupted
scheduling
world
myself.
and the Pale Tree.
But it is
Corrupted us.
a very
Can't they
valuable
see
and
that
well
they're the
appreciated
ones that
work.
become poisonous?
They believe their own lies. Come, Valiant. We must discover where the court is holding the white stag.
I agree, but how?
News of such a prize will have spread among the courtiers like wildfire. We will go to Erin's woodlot and spy upon the court. They often go there to recruit new courtiers, but we must be subtle, or they will flee without telling us anything. Meet me there, and we will devise a plan.
I'm not going to herald Guild Wars 2 as like the greatest, either hand, offhand. Okay, well, let's go dual swords. I'm not going to claim Guild Wars 2 as the greatest lesson for role playing you can ever get. Like, that's not true. But they do some clever things. They set the early stakes very well. We're quite focused on what's happening to our characters, and essentially only our character. And that's actually really cool to understand. To set, like, we know as players that we're going to have a greater effect on the plot and the world later. Right now, we're enjoying the fact that
We have completed the task at hand.
we're just here to have some fun. We're just chilling out, we're getting settled in the world. And I still highly encourage that as a very important thing to do every time. Like, even if this may sound strange, even if you're playing another Forgotten Realms game, D&D 5e, or, fuck it, you're playing another Blades in the Dark game that's very similar to every other Blades in the Dark game with the default lore, and it's cool and interesting, you want to do more, have a few sessions, or the first job, or the first gig, to really be that setting the scene thing again. After the first time they've done it, you've done it. So the players, all the players are on the same page and know what sort of, like, setting you're in. Twist it. Just change it. Do something odd, you know? The first few times they played through, there were rogues on the street. Honestly, show them what it's like being the upper crust. Yes, exactly. It's not just setting information, also shows you about what sort of GM you are. What sort of GM is going to run. It's tone setting, even if it is drastically different. Here we are fighting the Nightmare Court. It's like an internal Sylvari politics issue. We will get tangled up fighting Zaitan. It's not Shaitan. It's a separate evil thing entirely. Linus Grove. Storier it is. It's still an important thing to enjoy. We'll get, like, trapped up fighting Zaitan. It still could influence the game and where your heroes come from and that shared understanding of what your game is going to be about. Especially when you show the differences. If you start the game as an impoverished person, fighting and scrapping for every little thing you can get, trying really hard, fighting for every little bit and not getting super far, that provides a different experience when you're fighting a big bad evil dragon at the end of the game. You're like, oh man, it's just the continuation of this thing I've had to do my whole life. And that gives a different feel. That's a different sort of game than something that's just as legitimate and just as interesting, which could very well be, man, I was a pampered noble before this. This is super weird that I have to deal with this shit now. I'm just baffled that life got so different and so bad for me. It's not super deep characterization, but it's something to build off. A lot of the time, that's all you need, right? Please tell me someone else saw that. That was cool. Alright, we got a sword. We're using dual swords. We're dual sword Revenant. If using both swords is so inefficient, why does it look so fucking cool? My favorite sword maiden, Willow, is unavailable tonight, or at least hasn't noticed I'm streaming. So I can't tease her about why dual swords are not as efficient. Ah, Flora Everhope. That's good. Wait, my main is just Candacia. I can't blame you too hard about being unimaginative. That was my main in World of Warcraft, for fuck's sake. The account name, Methras, is named after the first character I created, who was a thief. A cheery thief. If you've read any of my smut story, maybe you have. Maybe not you. Maybe the novel's not yet done. It's not like it's released yet. I named one of the divinities after him. Cheery thief turned into the divinity of friendship and community.
It's all skill and a little luck.
Love these. My friend Adjudicator Z, not his real name. You love that? You'll see. My friend Adjudicator Z, not his real name, made Emma and I a wedding gift that had this image and had 50 gold. So it was 50 Australian $1 coins, which are probably not actual gold. And like, it's sweet. We've treasured that letter for a long time. Because we completed a heart event for the two of us. God, I'm going to send him a message and just tell him again how much it's on my mind that comes up. He's a good guy. Oh, I hope he doesn't check the VOD. He's engaged. Fucker. I'm going to do something similar to him and his fiancée. Blow his mind that we remembered. Alright. Okay, Legendary Dwarf. Legendary Dreamer. Let's get a utility skill. Let's do it. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that starts with the utility skill. Fucking hell, okay. So now when I swap between them, we can use that. Use both of them. He may check the VOD, who knows.
The Nightmare Court is gathering. We must proceed with caution. I cannot approach them. They know who I am.
Oh, do they?
Watch from a distance.
I don't understand why we allow them to gather at all if they seek to corrupt everything.
On those rare occasions when they bloom in public, they vanish as soon as the
They
world
know
is
who
over.
I am, Kate
Can't
says.
approach them. How will we free
Your
them?
girlfriend is the leader of the Nightmare Court.
I cannot, but you can. You're
My
a
sexy,
new
evil ex-girlfriend.
eager to recruit you. Speak to them cautiously and earn their trust.
I will.
Oh no.
Perhaps I can persuade a recruiter to follow me back here.
Not a sexy,
Then
evil
together, we can
ex-girlfriend.
force the recruiter to tell us
A
about
dark-themed
the
ex-girlfriend? Good God, how are you going to
But
survive?
before you go, a warning. Do not listen to their lies. If you become corrupted, there is no cure.
I'm not sure I super dig the social contagion part of the Nightmare Court. That one doesn't ring nearly as well for me. Because I'm like, ugh. It's more interesting when they're just... They seek to philosophically corrupt the Sylvari that haven't awoken. They're fucking up the dream. As opposed to, like... Yeah. Banish enchantment. Deal damage, apply chill, and remove buff wounds. Okay, that's great. What?
Already you've been lied to. Your eyes should be open, yet they are closed to all but the teachings of long-dead philosophers.
The Centaur Ventari, the human Ronin. Neither were Sylvari. Why do we lend their words such credence?
Ventari's tablet shackles us. In its shadow, we're slaves to an imposed morality, rooted in foreign ground and trapped forever.
I say no, and so should you. Look within yourself. The dream is many things. It is light and dark, love and anger, good and evil. So are we.
Come to us in the forest, saplings, and we will teach you more. We will give you freedom and give you the truth.
Would you fall for this?
That was, fairly disturbing.
Interesting. I have to admit, they made a few good points.
Don't fall for their lies.
All things have a right to grow.
Hey. Most of these villagers are weak-willed, wallowing in fear and indecision. Tell me, are you any different? You call virtue weak-willed? You have much to learn about being a true Sylvari. True Sylvari? I see where your loyalties lie. With the pathetic, enslaved worshippers of the tree! Begone! Lucky for you, I'm feeling generous. I'll leave you alive. Good day. Shit, I better actually do the thing. You seem clever, sapling. Do you have any questions about a nightmare court? A few, but I'm shy. Can we talk where others will not see? Oh, but of course we can, my pretty one. Just follow me. I swear it'll be really normal, just a regular normal day. Absolutely normal. Don't worry about it. You certainly will not regret following me into these bushes. Get him!
Wait, what are you doing? What is this?
I thought you
Bonk.
loved a good betrayal. Tell us where Gavin took the white stag.
Come here and make me. I'll kill you both.
I'll sword you good! Shift 2. Ah, utility skill. Don't you love it? Rawr. You just cast it repeatedly? It's not a very damaging one. I said I sold you good. It happened.
Listen here. You're smart enough to know you're in trouble. Tell us where you're keeping the white stag.
You've been a very naughty nightmare courtier.
If I tell you,
A very naughtier.
make me suffer.
Tell us where the stag is, or I'll carve out your tongue with my blade.
See, Kate's got something
No,
there.
listen. Trust me. Everyone needs to know it was you. I won't betray your trust as long as you tell us the location of the white stag.
I believe you. It's Gavin. He has the stag caged in a camp further north. It's a creature of hope. So turning it to despair will help liberate us and the pale tree too.
I love that when they designed a group of antagonists, they're like, we're going to have the silliest group of enemies who are Saturday morning cartoon villains.
I gave my word that we would. We're better than she is.
And then you're not going to be able to defeat them once and for all. They're just going to be silly and evil the whole time. Keith, no! Right, that was...
Quick and bitter end. Better death than they give their prey. Time presses us. We have two choices, Valiant. Do we free the stag using
You're like...
disguise or distraction?
really close to being a nightmare courtier yourself, aren't you, babe?
Follow your instincts. Speak with me, and let me know how you choose to approach.
Well, look, let me tell you. I still have that? Either hand. Alternate. Equipment. What if... Okay, cool. Very strange. Sword? No. Dredge edge. Sick. Yeah, love it? Love it. That's ridiculous. Honestly, two Benetti's rapier would be even better. Sword, sword. Yeah. Yeah, 102 more. Who cares? Oh, dumb. Oh, Jimbles, don't do this. It's a waste. They're all too ridiculous. They're all too ridiculous. Warden gloves it is. Nope, that doesn't fit at all, and it's not just the colors. Okay, we're done. Keith. If the Nightmare Court blights the White Stag with Nightmare, the dream will be tainted. I cannot allow it to happen. You're right. We have to rescue the stag. But how? I see two readily available options. Disguise or distraction. What would we do if we were disguised? As courtier rogues, we could infiltrate their camp and free the stag before they suspected anything. Interesting plan. What was their other option? What kind of distraction? Nightmare courtiers are proud. The right insult could grab their attention, allowing me to free the stag behind their backs. I'm ready to decide. Which will it be then? Disguise or distraction? Distraction. I'll create a distraction deal with the courtiers while you set the stag free. Very well. Meet me at Hemlock Coil, and we'll find a way to get their attention. Fuck yeah, we will. Ah, look at that. I'm suddenly pretty pleased we didn't, like...
Where one path ends, another begins.
Spend some transportation charges to change our armor. Why would we, right? Ha! Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but I really do love the fact that it's mostly account bound, right? Because most of the time I like doing things on one character. That's why I have one main and barely ever play the others. But so I love in Final Fantasy XIV that I can play one character and do all of the classes. Here, like, my profession, as they call it, is really set. It's one of the only things set. You can do crafting disciplines, have two of them active, and it keeps the level of the crafting discipline when you're not on it, so you can just spend a bit of gold to change each time, if you want. Didn't stop me from buying an extra license on Condesia, Condi, for sure. I feel bad that I just beat up a bird with a fruit. Not with a fruit, with a shovel. It's not nice. Oh no. I wonder if Revenants can use great swords. Fantastic weapon, the greatsword. What about a sword but bigger? Yes! Signed! That's perfect. Why would we not? 10 out of 10. Big sword, love it. It's not about the size of the sword, it's how you use it. Sometimes you just want a big sword, I gotta say. Like, I don't know if that's gonna fit in the scabbard, but I'd love to find out. That's all I'm saying. This is a metaphor for penis. Oh, thank you. Yes, lovely. I'll follow up. At the moment, everyone can see my screen, and I don't want to give out your personal information. It's only appropriate. Ah, okay. Sleep well, Leona. It was lovely to have your presence tonight, okay? If you watch the rest of this via, this via VODs, enjoy. Otherwise, thanks again. And we will see you once more. I think we've got enough credit to get this heart. Let's go protect against the Risen over here. I think philosophically it's interesting to have the difference between the schools of thought that can be like, the Sylvari are immune to dragon corruption because they arose in a time where they're supposed to be defending against it. That's their purpose. Which was an idea that was like, maybe, what if instead they're dragon minions? Now, we know lore-wise that's what the truth was, but adding that difference of opinion, the potentially red herrings if you see it as a mystery that needs to be solved, but just, we're not strictly answering the question 100%. There are people who have the wrong idea, there are people who believe opposite and they're happy to tell you about it. That's how to add interest to your world. Because people shouldn't be 100% correct all the time. That's, again, treating you, the GM, treating all NPCs as you, the GM. And that's not... Oh, it should be representing. Oops. That's not a great way to do things. There should be a differentiation between the two. NPCs should be able to be wrong. I think this is really exemplified in Morrowind. Less so Skyrim, Morrowind especially, where all of the lore books that give information about the world themselves are written specifically from in-world people. And they're always written by in-world people who have their own morals, attitudes, and scholarship traditions. So they're wrong a lot of the time. And they're not just, like, always super wrong. Sometimes they're just wrong in small ways that aren't obvious to everyone. That's an interesting and very good twist, isn't it? Please forget you can't do that. Oh, that's right. This one's a fucking jerk. There we go. Clicking my abilities again, which will get me killed. Shift 2.
It's all skill and a little luck.
Yeah. I often am of the opinion that the seeking efficiency can take the fun out of nearly everything. Sometimes seeking efficiency is the fun, but I gotta tell you, working to a timetable, working to a specific set of deliverables, whether they be do this spreadsheet or kill this boss, is why games can feel more like work and less like fun. So I encourage you to, like, I can't say that that method of play is bad, and I don't think I'd want to hold that position. Your in-game hard raiding style is very legitimate. If you enjoy it, that should be the way you get to play. But if you accidentally fall into that strategy, if without thinking you're like, why am I not enjoying this game anymore? It just feels like work and I don't know why. I encourage you to investigate your motivations for play and your methods of play. If you don't get fun out of optimizing your build, don't do it. But I'd let the other people on the static down. Are you? If you are they okay with that? Is it pressure you're putting on yourself? It's entirely possible that they expect more out of you and you need to do something different. But you're not enjoying that process of needing to do something different. And maybe you need to do the adult thing of go, I'm not enjoying this, so I'm going to tell them I'm not enjoying it. And it's not their fault, but that's all we're going to get. I don't think that's a great sin. Honestly, I'd rather be told by someone who matters to me that they're not enjoying the way we're hanging out and they'd like to hang out in another way. Rather than just rely on my beautiful anxiety superpowers built up by the years of emotional trauma to pick up when someone is like kind of implying or needing something different but not able to say it out loud, so I feel like there's something wrong the whole time, but I never confirmed that, or in fact, even I could say there's something wrong, and then, like, it turns out it's not. Oh, hey, bad gamer. God, it feels bad saying that out loud. I guess I'll just call you Gamer Elite. Hey, Gamer Elite. Grats! Getting the 3 expansions. That's good. I don't have End of Dragons, so I can't help you with any of the End of Dragons mounts, but let's open my mount panel and we'll take a look together. So, dies. No, here we go. Mounts. So, mount skins. I've got a few, not a lot of them. So, the Raptor, you get at level 10, I think, is a tease, and then when you buy Path of Fire, you get it for free. I believe that's the case. I haven't played in years. There you go. The Springer, which is this one here, it's got a high jump. You get it from the Path of Fire story. The Skimmer, same Path of Fire story. It flies over water. Can mount on water surface. It's got a vertical lift that isn't a leap. The Jackal, which movement power moves through like BGE, you got it. Moves through portals. And like has a blink, I believe. Yeah. And it can do it multiple times. So you can even go in a couple of directions. Is also from Path of Fire story. The Griffin is the first flying one. Glider comes from Heart of Thorns expansion. Less useful when you unlock a Griffin. The Griffin is a long collectible that's done in the Path of Fire, like after the Path of Fire story. It's non-mandatory. There are many players who don't have the Griffin at all. And that's why it appears after these two, which are. Right? I believe. Let's check my achievements. Path of Fire. Mastering Insights? No. Collections? No. Okay, we're still looking. Hold on. No. Maybe it's not appearing on this character. Let's take a look at the other one, because I want to solve this one for you. So we'll jump over to my main. This character is nearly 11 years old. I played for like 5, and then I haven't been back. Sorry. 2 hot friends were like, hey, we're still playing Guild Wars, you should download it. I say, giving them all the blame, even though I quite deliberately said, hey, are you still playing Guild Wars? What's it like? Just wanted to hear them talk, so I could flirt with them. Anyway, let's see if we go from here. GRY. No, that didn't solve it. Okay. Well, we tried. Masteries, Griffin Mount. No, it doesn't tell you where to get it. Memory Lane. Griffin Master. Fly your Griffin through the ring. No. Griffin Expert. Okay, so in the Crystal Desert, there will be a collection to get. And if you were cleaning the Skimmer Ranch task region in the Aeolon Riverlands and purchasing a Skimmer saddle from Arda. Excellent. And then this is quite irritating for me that I can't find a solution for you. I'm sorry, BGE. Well, we're going to do what Jimbles does best, and that's Alt-Tab and look for extra information. Now, let you actually see. Because I've done it, right? It was a while ago, but I have done it, so I can show you. Living World quests, yeah, it goes like this. I'll show you the story journal. Personal story, Living World Season 1 is now available. Living World Season 2, first expansion Heart of Thorns, Living World Season 3, second expansion Path of Fire, Living World Season 4, Icebreed Saga, which is essentially Living World Season 5, though they don't call it that, End of Dragon's most recent expansion. If you want your flying mounts, jump to Path of Fire, go through that, do everything you can. After Small Victory, you should be able to unlock the Griffin. And like, that's my quick answer. But I'm a bit of a story nerd. Like, it took me so long to get back to it, I'm replaying the personal story on an alt that I rolled tonight on camera. And we'll go through Living World Season 1 with my main Condesiad, so I can replay everything Will you miss important story? Yes, absolutely. I say with much enthusiasm, you will miss out. But it's not like it's okay to jump in and go, I'm just going to get the things I want to make running around easier. I'm just going to make my life easier and then go back and do it. Like, I think it's akin to hearing a spoiler from someone. You're like, you watch half a TV show because you see it on TV and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll go watch the first episode. Like, does that really impact your experience of going through the story properly? That's up to you to decide. Personally, no, I don't. I'm happy to do it. Unlock achievements. So, gather Sunspear relics from all 5 maps and return them to the Sunspear Sanctuary. So, after completing Path of Fire story, you can interact with the remains of the Lost Spear Marshal and say, I'll see what I can do. And that's right, because you're talking to, like, a ghost. Yeah, a character from Guild Wars 1, apparently. I haven't played Guild Wars 1. There you go. So, you buy things from Renowned Hearts, 250 gold for in total. Begin it even if you don't have the whole gold. Do a lot of the exploration. Yeah, and then do that and you'll get it. There you go. So you have to finish the Path of Fire story. If you jump straight to the Path of Fire, there is like a recap that will tell you what has happened, because it's not a short section of the game, right? If you're a story nerd and a bad gamer, I'm bad too. I'm not giving you shade. I'd say go through slowly, see what the game's about. You didn't have to pay for the expansions yourself, so you're not losing anything by not getting to them eventually. Your friend probably wants to experience the game through your eyes, so invite them into your instances, which you can do, and just let them watch. But if you think you're going to be playing with your friend at level 80, running around doing like the festivals that I'm ignoring because I always do because I'm terrible. If you want to do these daily, yearly, whatever, with them, and you're concerned that you won't be able to keep up, just go do it. Go do the Path of Fire story. Like, read the 3rd book in the series, essentially, before you go back and read the 1st and 2nd books. It's not a great sin. Ha! I'm in Australia, but I'm in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. No. We're between Melbourne and Sydney. My wife, who was trying to sleep, and I'm probably keeping up, her mother comes from Melbourne, so we visit Melbourne often. Both of my sisters live in Melbourne. No, I'm a capital city guy, which means I work for the public service. In one, you did great. You guessed very correctly. It's peak Australian time, that's for sure. Friday night, 10 o'clock, man, we're all playing games. Yeah, I visit Melbourne. I feel like it's a great city to spend a lot of money, but not a great place to live. Because it's big and loud and expensive, and when I'm on holiday, I got expensive tastes. I'm going to go visit expensive restaurants and spend 3 hours going to go find the most fancy coffee I can, and then just... That's not sustainable day to day. So... Right, I wanted to show you one more thing. There was one more flying mount that I don't have, so I can't show it off, but I believe Aureen is here, or a dragon. You get that by doing the After Path of Fire story in Season 4, War Eternal. I believe, like... Here, something at the end of here, something very dramatic happens, and you can unlock Aureen as a mount here. Then you have a dragon. It does better flying than the griffin. Whatever. I'll get to it. Maybe it's just a different kind of flying. They did a very good job in changing the kind of mount abilities, the mount movement abilities, and they have completely different purposes. And you think there'd be some overlap, right? Griffin and dragon, pretty similar, but I don't have it, so I can't tell you. I'll get there one day. You lived in NYC? Amazing. It's like not a real place to people who don't live nearby or in it. To us, it's just like the place that is mentioned in TV. Sometimes TV you really like. The place that keeps getting set fire to in all those superhero films. Well, it's not... Oh, damn, okay. But no one actually lives there? Of course they do, we're kidding, but... Canberra is a country town that's pretending to be a city, you know? It may be the capital, but since it's quite spread out with a lot of grassland between the central areas of town, quite a lot of grassland. It means that you'll run into a kangaroo, like literally hit it with your car, and it will write off your car really fast all the time. It's like essentially if you live in Canberra, that will happen no matter what. It means that we don't have massive central business districts. We have 4 spread across the city. And that means none of them are so huge that it's uncomfortable to live in. Or is it particularly like crowded and grimy? And I'd probably go weird. Oh, thanks, BGU. Oh my god. Who knows? I'm glad you picked them up for me. Shit, there are 2 crabs now. So, like, do you have any interesting stories from your time in NYC? Like, presumably you left due to work, but if you want to share, that'd be really good. Hey, thanks, BGE. If you're new to me, I generally stream Monday and Wednesday nights. That's my time. So likely early Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings if you're in America. I talk about tabletop role-playing games, and I do voice acting for fun. So I read a lot of, like... Not a lot, but I read a bunch of... There we go. Yeah, fair. When I was younger, my mothers essentially said the opposite. They're like, we're leaving Canberra. We don't intend to take you to Queensland. You can come if you'd like. Queensland's like very north. And I was like, I've got a job. I'm going to stay in the city I grew up in. Good luck, ladies. Could be worse. So I essentially did the opposite. And now I'm doing a counselling degree. The youngest kid is 13. Oh my god. I'm expecting my first in September. So I'm like getting as much, not as much, but I'm getting some gaming in when I've got more free time and I'm not looking after a newborn. I'm so excited. Thanks. Thank you. It's really... I don't know. They've called me, like, the dad of the friend group for a long time. And it's not just the bad jokes. It's the fact that... it's many other reasons. But I'm super excited to finally make that clear, you know? I've got a name that I'm not saying out loud, except to my wife, for superstitious reasons. And there's a joke running with friends, but they're like... You will mess up and say their name. So we have a bet going for how long it'll take me to mess up and say their name in public. And that's funny, because some people are like, they've got dates, they've got like a Deadpool, essentially. But other people are like, no, I've got complete faith in him. He's not going to mess it up. Misplaced. I'm going to keep making my cocktails on stream and I'll accidentally say my kid's name, I assure you. And then when he's tired, I'll play all the games that you can pause at literally any point. And I don't know. I'll mutter things to him when he's sleeping. A couple of friends of mine have their firstborn. Like, my first serious girlfriend just had her first child. And, like, we're still in a lot of contact with each other all the time. Her husband's just a great guy. So it's really great to see him as a dad. And it's just beautiful to hold the little guy in my arms. He's not practice for me. You know, that's treating as somebody else's child as a tool to make me a better person. That's not what they're for. Instead, it's like, I'm filled with this feeling like I want to be in this guy's life. This tiny little guy that I don't know yet. He barely has a personality yet. Because he doesn't have object permanence. Doesn't have a substantial sense of self. Doesn't even have a gender yet. He's got a sex though. And so, how cool will it be? To be at some point like, oh yeah, your friend Rowan, and I'm hypothetically talking to my future kid. Your friend Rowan? His parents are my friends. He's part of our little community, our little household. And I trust him so much that if you ever need something and you don't want to tell your parents, you can tell them. We always say we're trying to like make up for what you didn't have when you were a kid. But I feel like that's really true. And I'm trying. Who knows how it'll turn out? I was watching the stage show Come From Away yesterday. It was a really good show. Wife Emma had seen it previously in Melbourne on holiday with her family. But this is the first time I've seen it, though I've heard it and watched it as a recording. Just struck by the feeling like, I'm not going to force it on him. No way. I won't do that. But my son could be into musicals. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe he won't. Thanks, BGE. Look, if you want, you can spend some channel points on a bet or something to see if it'll last. Remind me, 5 years, see how the kid'll be? Who knows? I want to be a good dad. What does that mean? Well, I guess we find out. I've read like 5 or 6 pregnancy books. Well, skimmed. I've fully read 3 of them. And... oh! Got it in one! That's what mounts do in this game. In non-expansion content, you're like, oh, I'm just going to skip this. You know? That's fine. That's a not difficult but interesting jumping puzzle. You figure out how you go up the sides to get to this vista. Vistas are jumping puzzles light most of the time. So, like, let's do it properly. How do we get up here normally, huh? Let's start at the bottom and go. Okay, so you gaze around. You look for your egress. Does this lead somewhere interesting? No? Maybe? What about that rock? Just follow the whole way around. Explore the map and look at the area. Now, I have a Fantasia, and this is mostly for people in the VODs. I have a Fantasia, and I cannot picture things in my mind. Just can't. Most I get sometimes is like a blur. So, I can only see what's right in front of me. Very funny. How do we get up there? It's nice to look around, take a moment, think about how to tackle this puzzle that's been designed explicitly to have a solution. Like Rubik's Cubes, same thing. They're designed to have a solution. You can figure it out. You can also blunder into the solution a lot. That's fine too. But if you want to explore and figure it out yourself, sometimes it's fun to look at the problem and see what you can come up with yourself. And sometimes it's fun to not do that. It can be gratifying to just go, yeah. Have a good time at work, BGE. Have a good time streaming. Nice. And we will catch you later. I don't know. GW2 knowledge. Generally, lore-wise, if you want to understand some here... okay, my biggest bit, I think I might log off soon. The biggest bit of GW2 lore I've got for you, and I'll give it to you now right before you have to disappear for work. If you want to understand some motivations for the main characters in the personal story, there's a book called Edge of Destiny. It's a pretty good read. And it's really short. You should be able to get it for very cheap. on certain websites or Amazon. Yeah, I enjoyed reading it, so I'll make that recommendation. There we go. Damn. Rats. Alright, let's finish up for the night, I think. My friends, this has been a bonus stream and it's been a lot of fun. We've got some people lurking and some people watching. Otherwise, I think I'm going to wish you the best and let you know that I'm streaming Monday night. We'll be finishing Coffee Talk, which is big voice acting, big anime girls, and the wet lady we love. I'm having a good time there. Likely finish that, maybe do more Guild Wars 2 after that, because this is really scratching an itch that I've got. And then Wednesday night, we're continuing with more Final Fantasy VIII. Otherwise, remember to be kind to yourselves and other people, and remember to tell people you love that you love them very much. Good night, everyone.